After your experiment is done and you are ready to filter out your product, please make sure that you have kept your test tube or your Erlenmeyer flask, in whichever you have done your experiment, in ice bath for about 5-10 minutes. And while you're doing that, also keep some ethanol in a separate test tube. So both of your Erlenmeyer flask and your ethanol test tube should be placed in the ice bath together for about 5-10 minutes so your ethanol can turn cold. When you're ready for your filtration, always plant the filter paper over the funnel. Right before you're ready to dump everything on the funnel, you should then place your filter paper and wet it with your cold ethanol drops. You can just take a pipette, put a few drops on it. Make sure that your suction tube is on and your suction flask is snug by the adapter between your flask, your funnel and your suction flask. You should have the adapter so that no air escapes. Dump all your material on the funnel and then let the liquid go. Once all the liquid has settled, then place a few drops of this cold ethanol on your solid. Wait for another 5 minutes and then take the tube out first. Then close the vacuum knob. When you're doing your filtration, you have to remember to put your boiling stones and don't put more than half of your recrystallization solvent. You will use a pipette to clean up, to hold up minimum amount of hot solvent to dissolve the crude product. You don't want to add up a lot. You don't want to add up less. What happens when you add a lot? What happens when you add less than minimum? So how does this impact the percent yield and purity? When you add a lot of solvent, all your solid has dissolved, but when you recrystallize it, only some of it will come out or solidify. So your yield will go down. What about your purity? It will have no impact. Probably better, good purity, but overall no impact. But if you add less than minimum, you are going to get a high yield. Why? Because you did not dissolve all of your solid in the recrystallization solvent. So the impurities still stuck on that solid will increase your overall percent yield. What will happen to purity? Your purity will go down. Why? Because still impurities are lingering in the solid. Another factor that you should look at is what happens when you cool slowly? What happens when you cool rapidly? Okay, if you cool slowly after the recrystallization process, you will get large and pure crystals. However, if you cool rapidly, if you put your solution, if you take out some solution, you have just dissolved, it is still hot, and you barge it in a cold ice bath, you are rapidly cooling your solution, you will get smaller and impure crystals. So the way you're cooling will also impact your recrystallization.